Welcome to Nerd Talk with these two movie buffs, myself and my beloved brother, Alan Villasenor, Alan V
Huh?
Photos, aka Big Al, aka Big Easy, aka he's got
That's
all the
why.
names in the world. But to
El
us, he's
Chulo.
just
Don't forget El Chulo.
El Chulo, Casanova.
Oh my
But
God.
he is Alan, and he is joining us. He is my brother. This is a long time coming. We've been talking about this since
Years,
before
man.
since before movie
Even
talk.
before TikTok was even invented, I think.
Before it was even invented, we've
Still
been
in the
talking about it, but just life has gotten
anti.
in the way. And but we're here now, and we are going to just share our thoughts. Share our thoughts. We're two movie lovers. We're two
Let's do
cinema
it.
lovers. Uh, pop
Big time.
culture. So here we are. So let's just start with this, Alan, real quick, really quickly. What if you
Never.
can remember? If you can remember, what is what got you loving movies? What got you loving, let's say, pop culture? Because
Mhm.
in a way, you are actually in this industry today, as it says, Alan V Photos. You have worked with the likes of Nick Cannon, Jay Shetty,
Mhm.
Darman, and you've been to
Yeah.
Netflix events
Yeah.
and whatnot. But give us a little bit of the background. What got you into loving this industry, man?
Um, it's crazy. I kind of have a lot of little things that come to mind when it comes to movies. But my earliest memories actually came from the long waiting lines at the movie theater when my parents would take us to go watch. I remember The Lion King, the big old line wrapped around going
Dang.
into the movie theater. Jurassic Park, I think, because I was really young, and at that time, Jurassic Park was like, or dinosaurs were my thing at the time. And so seeing Jurassic Park, I was like, "Oh my God, dinosaurs are real!" Like in the movie theater. And then obviously we know Steven Spielberg's the master filmmaker, so it was easy to
That
fall in love with his
those
work.
those effects still hold up today.
Oh yeah,
It's
absolutely. The
crazy.
effects, uh, man, the soundtrack of that movie is etched in all of our brains. Uh, it's incredible. It's incredible. And I mean that those are my first real memories of loving movies was Lion King, the Jurassic Park world. So today it's actually still one of my top four like favorite films that I always think of when it comes to cinema. Like it's that one because I was young and it like
Mhm.
brought me in. Um, and then now, well, actually, I'm gonna backtrack one more time. And then the Spider-Man phenomenon.
Mm,
Uh, you
mm.
know, I remember watching the trailer for that first Spider-Man, before they had the Twin Towers in that trailer. I don't know if you remember that one. They had the helicopter
Here we
like
go.
stuck in between the
It's
Twin
episode
Towers,
one,
and
folks.
obviously, what happened?
Episode one. All right. I'm listening. Yeah, the Twin Towers. I remember that. I remember you showing me.
Yeah,
I remember you showing me that trailer
yeah,
for the very first time with the bank robbers and all that. But go ahead.
yeah. Yeah, and I watched that trailer so many times on the computer with the slowest internet connection. It was always like buffering the trailer. It was
Mm.
horrible, but that really got me into like movies again, I guess, or it like really wrapped me into movies because my favorite character, superhero of all time came to life and it was real. And so that um, that wrapped me back in. And then, Sam Raimi had a lot of style, a lot of flair in those movies. Toby, hilarious, very emotional movies, obviously. And
Mhm.
I don't know, it was so easy to fall back in love with it. And then moving forward to now, uh, it's like I am a photographer. I do make videos. I see myself more of a photographer than I would like a videographer. And then whenever I do video, I always try to look at things within like if I'm making a movie. So I always think about the shot setup, the way that, the scene looks, the way that people
Mhm.
look. So I feel like my understanding of photography has now allowed me to appreciate a broader spectrum of movies, like when it comes to their shot selections, their
Mhm.
sound design, and if anything, just photography has just helped me appreciate movies that much more and appreciate what directors are doing with their storytelling, and also, what a good story is instead of just a bunch of flashing lights and spectacles and all that. It's a combination of all those things.
Yeah, and I think that attention to detail in your work has paid off for you, man. I think what's pretty amazing is you're completely self-taught. I just kind of I've obviously I've seen you from the
Yeah,
beginning, and your quality. I mean, you always had kind of like that natural, kind of eye for shots and everything from what I can remember, but just your growth, man, until like to today, and you're going to keep growing. Your photos have been in People magazine, on their website and whatnot. So you're featured on
yeah,
People magazine, man. That's how far
it's
you've
pretty
come.
cool.
So
It's cool
so
stuff.
congrats on that. But kind of to backtrack to your love of film and cinema, one of my earliest memories. I'll just kind of give you this quick story. And
I
you're
was about to ask you. Yeah,
oh,
because
you're gonna ask
I need
me.
to know. Yeah, I was gonna
All
ask
right.
you. What about you, bro?
Well, one of my earliest memories is me, you, and our cousin Bethel. Shout out Bethel. Okay, in Riverside. Okay, just one early afternoon or late morning, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, and we
I
lived.
think I already know where this is going.
We lived close to a movie theater. Okay, walk a good walk, but walking distance, and we lived like on a hill. Like our street was
Yeah.
completely uphill. And mind you, I'm this is probably 1999, the year 2000 maybe. You could probably look it up because I think you know where I'm going with this story.
Yeah,
But
I know exactly where you're going.
anyway, long story short, we're just three young pups. I'm like 5 years old, maybe 6 years old. Um, and now that I think about it, and having a 5-year-old daughter, this is it's kind of even crazier story.
Yeah, it is. Now
because
I'm thinking about it too.
because what did we do? You remember? You know where I'm going with it?
Yeah, we grabbed a bucket of change,
Bucket of
dollar,
change,
a bunch of coins,
quarters,
and
coins,
yeah, oh
dimes,
my God.
pennies. We scraped up whatever change we could find in the house, and we packed that up, and we took our asses down the street, down the hill, to our early showing of an animated movie called Titan A&E. Right,
Titan AE. Actually,
Titan
I mean, I
AE.
think about it now. The animation in that movie was pretty sick, from what I remember. I I think I've only watched that one time actually.
Exactly. I only I mostly remember just the journey of getting the coins together, and then just
Yeah,
hiking down Baldwin Avenue in Riverside, California. But that's crazy,
yep,
dude. I was like 5. So now I think of my daughter like just walking out of the house
yeah,
without us and going to a movie.
yeah.
Like
That
what the
movie came out in 2000.
There you
It
go.
came
I
out in
was I was
2000,
6.
dude.
Okay, so I was 6. Depending on the time of the year, right? Maybe I wasn't 6
Wow.
yet.
Yeah.
And so think about your
Holy
daughters, just
smokes.
packing up. You live kind of close to a movie theater. Imagine them just walking out the house and just going. Just different times,
I
right?
couldn't imagine it nowadays, but
Right?
yeah, that's
Just
exactly what
different.
it is.
That's just different. So, I got to give you credit for my love of this kind of world, the nerd world of, movies and comic book characters and, all the flair of all that good stuff, man. And definitely the Spider-Man phenomenon. Um, I could just remember how packed those theaters were. And this is what before reserved seating. So you had to be there early and whatnot. And,
Yeah.
man, just incredible times.
Yeah, actually, I
But
remember for that Spider-Man, uh, the very first showing, I found out the show times on a newspaper, and then
mm,
I went and purchased the tickets early in the day, like at 11 or something, right when they opened. And so you had your ticket stub, and then you had to
hmm
be there early to rush into the theater to get your seat.
yep, yep. But so kind of talking about let's kind of pivot. Let's kind of fast forward into today. Okay, so let's kind of jump into it.
Hmm.
So I got some good news and some bad news in the world of movies right now. I want to start with the bad news. Okay, you ready?
I'm ready to hear it.
We got a Venom 3 trailer today, folks.
Oh yeah.
That is the bad news. Venom
Oh
3,
man.
The Last Dance. I know this is our first episode. I'm sure we'll talk about how we feel, but I mean, I guess you can kind of already see how we feel about the Venom franchise. Did you watch the trailer? I sent it to you a little
I
earlier. Did
did.
you watch it?
Yeah,
All right,
I
talk to me.
I
Talk
got
to
it
me.
from you. You know what's funny is that usually I see a trailer pop up on Instagram and I'm like instantly like, "Oh, I need to watch it." Like, "Well, what's coming out?" But before you even sent it to me, it popped up on my feed and I actually just closed Instagram. I didn't even look at it right then and there because I was like, "You know what? I don't even care, honestly." And I know I might sound like a hater, but that last movie, the Let There Be Carnage, was just complete butt cheeks. And
It
I don't
was
know. There
ass,
was,
bro. It was ass. Let's
it,
just call it what it is.
yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. Just something about this character just being awfully silly and just like these, I don't know. I just remember the movie being so fast and like nothing developed. And then everything was just happening so fast for some reason. It was just weird. And then, so finally I watched the trailer because I was like, you know what? He sent it to me. Let me watch it so we can have a little discourse and talk back and forth.
Mm.
And I got I got to watching it. I was like, what is this, man? What are they trying to say? What is, and I get it. Venom is a fun character. He's supposed to be, comic books are fun. They can be funny.
But not this one, man. Not this
Especially
character.
yeah, and in comic books they're quippy, they're funny, they're entertaining because you got to engage your audience, while they're reading. But I don't know, man. Like just from what I saw, it doesn't look appealing. It doesn't look interesting at all. Um, and just I don't know, something about this Venom just being like, "Oh, I'm so happy you fed me."
Oh,
It's like, what?
delicious.
Yeah, biting heads off like, "Oh, you always take me to the tastiest places," or whatever he says.
Yeah, he did
And
say
it's just
that.
like, I don't know, man. Like, how did you feel about that trailer? Like, are you gonna go
Yeah.
watch it
I mean, I think I'm gonna watch it just for the sake of talking about it.
of this conversation?
Yeah. um,
Yeah.
with Venom 2, we watched that one together, and I almost felt like walking out of the theater like within the first few minutes of it. It was just hot garbage. Like, it's just sad that you can have a like Like we actually got live action Carnage, but
Yeah.
like imagine if somebody would have told you that when you were a kid, like, hey, you're eventually going to get a live action Carnage. you
You
probably
wouldn't have
would have been
expected that one.
you probably would have been extremely excited about it, but that movie's just so forgettable, so awful. Venom is in a nightclub with, neon lights on him. And then in this movie, he was dancing in the trailer. Did you catch that? He was
Yeah, he was
dancing. He was
dancing with
like ballroom dancing. I'm like, "Oh, what are you doing, man? What is this?" But
yeah,
one thing I will say, like I feel like what they showed in the trailer, like, is kind of what Venom 1 should have been. Like, just the military, like, going after this dude, and him be a menace, killing wrecking all the military dudes and whatnot. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Because, like, oh yeah, now you're gonna go after him because you see, I guess, more alien or more symbiotes are coming and whatnot, but
yeah.
dude, I'm tired of seeing more symbiotes, man. Like, and I guarantee you, they're gonna try to squeeze some sort of Spider-Man in there. Like, dude, that movie's just gonna
Like
be an
a
absolute.
reference.
Yes, yes, that movie's just gonna be an
Yeah.
absolute train wreck of a movie, dude. And people actually love those movies. Like, I don't get it. I just don't. Like, to each their
I don't
own.
get
To
it
each
either.
their own. But I don't get it, man. Me
Yeah,
personally,
absolutely. Yeah, I'm
you
not gonna
know.
trash on anyone if they enjoy the movie. I guess just for my taste, the that Venom world just I don't know, just throws me off.
It's
I
like a
maybe it's because it's missing Spider-Man. A lot of people say like, how are you gonna have three Venom movies with no Spider-Man? And I guess that could be a part of it for me. I don't know if that is the reason. I just feel like the stories have just not been interesting.
Yeah, again, I can when, kind of backtracking, I think that movie came out in what, like 18 or 17, right? 18.
Hmm.
But I remember when I first heard they were making a solo Venom movie, I mean, I actually wasn't like opposed to it. I was open
No,
to
no.
like, oh, like, and then the very first trailer that they ever had for that one, and they first showed his look, his
Yeah,
face like coming together, and I was just like, whoa, that does look cool. I'm not gonna lie, that looks
yeah,
pretty awesome.
it does.
But God, man, what a wreck those movies are. Like, again, I'm not here to tell people what they should or shouldn't watch, teach their own, but those movies aren't for me. But to answer your question, I will probably watch it, just,
Yeah,
so we can come on here and, talk about it.
yeah. I mean, I got the AMC stubs, so it's kind of
No, there
like
you go.
you just get to watch it almost for free, I guess, if you're gonna do the
Yeah.
that math that way.
Yeah, that's true. I see what you mean. But anyway, the good news. I said there's good news and bad news. Okay, so the good news is that we got a shock drop on Netflix of an absolute heater. Godzilla minus one. I know you've seen Godzilla minus
Mhm.
one in theaters. I'll tell you
Yeah,
this, bro. I'll tell you this, bro. I've actually been searching for quite a while of how to watch this movie again. I've been searching, like, is it on Prime? Can I buy it? Is it on
yeah,
Vudu, or is it on Roku? Is it on something, because I want to
yeah.
watch this movie again. And I'll tell you what, bro, I was watching it last night. I watched it last night. I got halfway
Nice.
through it though, just because the baby was just being a baby. Okay, so I couldn't get through the whole thing, but I got upset because I was trying to finish the movie. But
Yeah.
what are your thoughts on that shock drop? Are you making time to watch it again at home? What were your thoughts of Godzilla minus one when you first saw it? Let me hear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, first and foremost, like I just recently this past year got or back in 2023, I got really comfortable and excited watching foreign films.
Hmm.
And I guess sometimes, we get a little lazy, we don't want to read. And I guess I thought that maybe if I had to read all of the stuff that was going on, then I wasn't going to be invested in the movies.
Hmm.
But it's actually turned out to be quite the opposite. It's really amazing to actually hear the movies in their actual language, the characters actually speaking their emotions and stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
in a
so
way,
for
if I could chime in real quick, in a way, having to read the subtitles actually focuses you more on the
Yeah,
movie, because
yeah,
you could easily, if it's in English, you could easily turn away, check your phone real quick, go to,
zone
go
out.
do
Yeah,
something, because what you could still kind of hear what's going on, but when you got to read it,
yeah.
you actually got to be laser focused on every piece of dialogue. But go ahead, sorry about that.
Oh yeah, no, and I agree completely. And the my first thoughts, the cool thing was the theater experience. It was kind of funny because I was in that movie theater with a it was me, and then on the other seats, it was like every other seat was another dude just like there by himself, just like me that day. Because it was like in the middle of the day, I just caught a show and I was like, you know what? I heard this movie's really good. I want to go watch it.
Hmm.
And then it was like that, and then some couples here and there, but most of it was like single dudes, like all around just watching it.
Hmm.
And there were a few times during the movie that like everyone was tearing up, and I could hear the other dudes, and then some of the people in the background, like behind me, they were like, you know, and it was great. It was a cool movie experience because I think everyone was just appreciating what they were watching in just like a very emotional Godzilla, but a destructive Godzilla that just I don't know, man, menacing. He is not a hero in that whatsoever. He is like I don't know. He's just a force. He's just a huge force in that movie.
And I think that's what I absolutely love about that movie, is just, number one, they showed the perspective of what would really happen if there was actually a Godzilla roaming
Yeah,
around and just destroying cities. Just
yeah,
one of the details I loved was
obliterating them.
just obliterating. So when he arrives on land for the first time, that they show, like, into the city in Ginza, I believe was the name of the city. I'm not exactly sure, but when he takes a step, everything lifts up because of just obviously his sheer size, and everything
Massive.
pops up, and it's like, damn, that's so, yeah, of course that would happen, because this, who knows how much he weighs, but he's just this building size monstrosity. And it's just, man, it's just incredible. And then the way he just walks, like,
Yeah,
because
I
yeah,
know.
an animal that large is probably not going to be agile, more than likely. He probably is just,
Yeah,
and they show
yeah.
his just sheer size and magnitude, man. It's just, from that perspective, you just feel so tiny, when when in the way that they show it, and the fact that they did that on a relatively low budget. I don't know the exact
I
budget,
think it
but
was
I
like
know it was
15 mil or something from what I remember reading.
incredible, incredible,
Yeah.
incredible movie. Just from the Godzilla standpoint, obviously there's the human aspect of it too. Um, awesome, man.
Hmm.
Again, I made time last night to rewatch it, and I got to finish it up now. But incredible movie,
Yeah.
man,
It was a
incredible.
good it was a good shock drop for sure.
I was
Because
so
I
excited.
think what I had heard was something about the fact that the other Godzilla is out, so there can't be like streaming releases of the Godzilla worlds all at the same time or something. I don't know how that works, but
The
I'm
Godzilla
happy
X
that
Kong.
yeah, yeah, because that one had just come out. Yeah. And you know what? And it's funny, like I'm happy that there's a world where we have two completely different types of Godzillas because I feel like the other one is kind of wild and crazy, but it's fun in its own way. Like monsters, just I don't know.
If that's your cup
It's
of tea.
different. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
but
once I kind of accepted those for what they were, what they are, or what they became, like you just have fun with them, right? You just have a good
yeah.
time. Just watch these monstrosities just batter each other.
Uh-huh. Yeah, good
but
fun.
but uh but I know you got your incredible at home theater, your sound system and whatnot. So, dude, that's gonna be a banger when you are you gonna
Oh yeah,
rewatch it?
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, I'm planning on rewatching it sometime this week for sure.
Sweet, sweet. That movie, was that a 2023 movie or a 24, like early 24?
It came out 23, I think,
23.
from what I
Okay.
remember.
Got
Yeah.
you, got you. All right, so let's pivot into this year, okay? And I want you to give me the best movies you've seen this year. Give me a let's do a top 3. How about that? For, this is, people love lists, or people hate lists, but
Yeah.
people look at lists, right? So let's do this. Give me
I do
Big
too.
Al's.
I like lists.
You like lists? You like rankings?
I like lists. Yeah,
Alrighty.
yeah, I like
So
doing rankings. I'm horrible at them, but I like them.
they're so subjective, dude. There's no right or wrong list. There never is. Everybody's
I mean,
gonna.
there is. It's the Big
Yeah,
Al's
yeah.
opinion, and that's what it's gonna be.
All right.
Mm.
So give me your top 3 best movies that you've seen in theaters this year.
Are we doing in no particular order, or are we doing in order of the?
No, give me your top 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, so top three. I know this movie came out in 2023, but it didn't really get a wide release here where I'm at until earlier this year, and it was a movie called The Zone of Interest.
Okay.
It Yeah, it was very impactful, very incredible the way it was shot. It was really like Big Brother style. I don't know if you've ever seen like where they basically have like hidden cameras all over the place and the actors were just acting. Um, but the message in the movie was incredible because it had to do with the family that lived on the literally on the other side of a concentration camp, and
Wow.
they're just living such a normal life. They're almost like I don't know, it's just crazy the way that the movie is just amazing. If you haven't gotten a chance to watch it, it is a must watch. Um,
Okay.
go in with an open mind, and you'll start realizing like, whoa, like this is I don't know. It really gets you emotionally. Um, the number two is Dune 2. I
Ooh,
watched that one, and
I thought that was gonna be your number one. I really did.
no,
Wow.
I
Now
might, I
I'm
might,
really
I might throw you off. I might throw you off right now, but
okay.
I'm gonna
Okay.
get you.
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
gonna get
All
you.
right.
So Dune 2, IMAX, unbelievable. Uh, it's my movie of the year so far. I haven't seen anything even really remotely come close. Um, in that IMAX experience, I don't know that I'll ever forget the way the Harkonnen soldiers were going up at the beginning of the movie, and they're going up that gigantic mountain. Um, the scenes in that IMAX screen, just gigantic, were just oh my god, the scale of the movie is unbelievable. And number one was Spider-Man 2.
Ah, dude,
Oh man, it
dude.
just
We're
it just
like,
hit me again right there. And
dude.
Spider-Man 2, watching it in theaters again was just it made me appreciate the movie again. The the and it's my favorite character, probably my favorite Spider-Man movie. Uh, the story's awesome, the acting, the emotions, everything in that movie. That was my best movie theater experience of the year.
Oh
I got you though,
man.
huh?
Yeah, you did. You did, man. All right, so I mean, you want to go into my list here?
Yeah, yeah, I'm
All
ready.
right, so I'll openly admit that so far this year I probably have gone to the movies the least that I've gone in a long time. Okay, I'll just be quite honest,
Yeah.
openly admit that. It's just two little girls. I know your girls are older, so you can kind of tag them along. Mine are
Hmm.
a little bit smaller, so it's a little harder to get them out and get them to sit down and watch something. But anyway, here we go. Number 3, I have Dune 2. Okay, Dune Part 2. That's my
Uh-huh.
number 3. We watched that together
Number three,
in
huh?
that's my number 3, okay? And here's why, okay? I
That's
said
gonna be a
I
crazy
wrote
list.
I wrote down a couple things of why, okay? I know it'll be controversial to guys like you and the hardcore guys, the hardcore film guys, but I think it's because and I think I told you this right after we walked out of it. Obviously, when you're there, you're watching a damn blockbuster. You're watching just a beautifully shot, beautifully attention to
Masterpiece.
detailed, just freaking cinematic experience, built for IMAX. That's the only way to watch. I mean, it's not the only way, but it's the best way to watch that movie
The
is
the way.
it's the way. There you go. To watch
Yeah.
Dune Part 2 is crazy sound system, incredibly large, and we were in one of the few real true IMAX theaters, if that's not correct, in
Yeah.
the country. So,
Yes. 70 mil.
um, there you go. So, my reasoning behind it is because I just think I'm not fully versed in the language. I'm not fully versed in that world yet because I was kind of late to Dune Part 1. Excuse
Yeah.
me. I rewatched Dune 1, a couple days before that. I watched it a little late. I know you were kind of like, dude, like maybe you shouldn't have watched it
Yeah.
kind of late. But anyway,
Didn't you say you were watching it like at midnight?
I think I did start it at midnight. I didn't fall asleep though. I watched the whole movie, but
Yeah, that's good.
I didn't even doze off or anything like that. But anyway, my point is I just don't think I was fully immersed in the world yet.
Hmm.
If that can kind of make sense. I don't know. I didn't know the lingo yet. I didn't know. I was kind of like I was trying to piece a lot of things together. You know what I mean? And I think
Yeah.
you do. I think you would need to watch Dune Part 1, maybe like very closely before watching Dune Part 2,
Hmm.
if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Is
mean,
that
I get it.
is
I
that
get it.
fair? Is that kind of fair?
It's fair. I mean, that it is in for your circumstances, it makes sense. It's fair. I got the opportunity to watch it when it was out in theaters, Dune Part 1, I'm talking, and
They
then I watched
re-released
it
it, right?
again. Yeah, and then I watched it again about 6 months before Doom Part 2 came out, and then I watched it a couple days before Doom Part 2 came out. So
Okay.
for me, I was a lot more invested. I was more like knowledgeable of the characters, having not read the books. Like I'm going strictly off of that movie to get
Hmm.
my understanding of the world. Um, so for me, it all worked out really great, because I was all in it. I was all in. So
Got
it
you.
makes
Yeah.
sense though
See,
for
you see what I'm saying? So, all right, but my number 2, you're not going to agree with this, okay? But again, it's just all personal preference, man. Okay, you ready?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not liking where
it's
this is going so far.
it's Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. What a wonderful day! No,
I like it's good.
look,
It's a
look, look.
fun, great movie.
You see that? Where is he? You see that right there?
Yeah. Caesar.
Caesar, dude. I'm a big fan of these these new age Planet of the Apes films, man. That first trilogy, the Caesar trilogy, just amazing. And I think this part four, obviously being a continuation, many years, spoiler alert, right? I'm sure everybody's seen it at this point, but many generations into the future of, I seen a couple interviews with the director Wes Ball, and he talks about um, the Caesar movies being the apes' Stone Age, right?
Hmm.
And they're very, very it's their Stone Age. It's their very beginnings of them ruling the planet, or being the dominant species in the planet, or battling over the planet.
Yeah.
This one, I love what they did. I'm There's a part of me that I would have liked to see, like, Cornelius, which was Caesar's son, the one that survived, like, grow up
Hmm.
and become, the heir apparent, from War of the Planet of the
Yeah.
Apes. But I enjoyed seeing it, seeing what the world became, right? Because of just how invested. I think it's kind of going back to what I was talking about Dune. I think I was just more invested in the Apes story, in the Apes franchise, and to see how these apes and what has happened to the world, and this post-apocalyptic worlds where these cities aren't even recognizable anymore. You kind of don't even know what city they're in at sometimes, because they're just
Hmm.
covered in forests. They're just covered in green, and humans
Yeah.
are literally have lost the ability to speak and to communicate, and they have become the hunted. They have become like apes, like they are like how
Yeah.
the world we live in. It was interesting for me to see that, from watching Rise, Dawn, War, into that. To me, I just
That's
enjoyed
great.
that one. I just enjoyed Kingdom because of that. Now, that being said, now this might sound a little contradicting, but it's probably the third or the fourth best one of these movies.
Probably.
It it really is, man. But that's just, to me, that's just a testament of how great that this franchise is, and the direction that they're going. I think I got a feel. I've watched and researched a couple things about it, and I hope it doesn't get a little too wacky with, like, space travel, and time travel, and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. But I think that's kind of what they were hinting at with, like, all of the telescope stuff, if you remember that. I kind of hope
Satellite,
the
telescope.
satellites. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, like, I hope it doesn't go that far, to the left. Um, but man, I just loved it, man. It was. I thought I was gonna have a little trouble getting emotionally attached to the main antagonist ape that's not named Caesar. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Because that character is just so he's just so peak. He's just a peak
Yeah.
character.
It was no
um,
Noah, right?
Noah was his name. Hmm.
Yeah.
But I got invested in Noah. I got invested in Raka, the orangutan,
Hmm.
which you kind of feel like, hey man, like, I was thinking after, I was like, maybe this is a descendant of Caesar's right hand orangutan, Maurice, because
Yeah.
they kind of had the
Yeah.
same beliefs and all that stuff, man. But anyway, that was my number two. I was just incredibly invested in that. I watched it, I believe, opening night, or the second night it came out. I got a babysitter. I made time, make sure there was no interruptions. We went. Yeah, had a great time, man. So that's my number two. Here we go. Jumping into my number one, and this is why we're doing this show, man. Because my number one is also Spider-Man 2.
Ah,
I
yes.
swear. I wish you
Uh-huh.
could read it on here, but I have it written down, man. Spider-Man 2 was my favorite movie that I've seen in theaters this year. Um, Dude, I traveled 5 hours to go see that with you. And dude, what an experience. It almost felt like I felt like I was in 2004 again. and I was
Yeah.
watching that movie for the very first time. Just
Hmm.
you just seeing it on the big screen again, hearing it through the speakers of a movie theater. Um,
Yeah.
just getting back into that Raimi Spider-Man world, and just how crappy it is to be Peter Parker, man. Like, God, it just,
Yeah.
especially that movie, man, it just sucks. It just sucks to be Peter. Like,
Promise the
literally,
four crackers. My daughter
my
will be
daughter.
back.
uh, Rent, can I spend it? Hi, what's hi? Oh man, but dude, just that train sequence, and then the bank robbery onto the side of the building, to the Spider-Man jumping for Aunt May. That's just, dude, that's just freaking the epitome of Spider-Man, fighting off all
Yeah.
these tentacles, fighting this dude, but I'm still gonna jump down for Aunt May and save her. And just, dude, it's the epitome of what Spider-Man is. And just
Yeah. It and that New York vibe that they give, man. It
can't
feels
be
New
beat.
York.
Can't be beat. It really can't be beat. So I mean, that's why we're brothers, man. That's why we're doing this show, because sometimes we're gonna agree, sometimes we're gonna disagree, but we're on the same page, man. That was the best experience I've had in a movie theater, probably in a long time.
Yeah.
Number one, in a long
I
time.
wish we could have done like an IMAX on that one. That would have been sick.
Yeah, they didn't have that option though, right? They just kind of did the traditional.
No. Yeah. It was still great though.
It
I
was
still
amazing,
enjoyed it a
man.
lot.
Amazing. The
Yeah.
train sequence. There's things that I picked up on. I mean, I've seen the movie probably 100 times, but there's just something about watching it in theaters. There was a couple things that I picked up on. Um, just, I guess, as far as the filmmaking of the movie goes, right? But
Hmm.
that's my top list. We'll